Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB SHOW. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. The Chase fans were left fuming during Thursday's edition of the ITV show after one player's selfish move before the final chase, with fans flocking to social media to demand a new rule. The Chase fans were left in disbelief over one selfish player's motives as the chaser teased him about a show change. On Thursday's episode at the ITV studios, host Bradley Walsh introduced 4 new contestants to the popular Tea Time quiz. This week, the foursome faced off against Paul the Sinha Man, who was definitely on top form. First to step up was Sarah, impressing viewers with her extensive general knowledge as she added £7,000 to the jackpot. Hoping to emulate her success was law student George, who shared his plans to treat his girlfriend to a trip to Seattle if he managed to secure some winnings. However, after a less than stellar cash builder round, earning only £1,000, the aspiring lawyer chose to challenge the chaser for a mere £1. Before his final question, Bradley couldn't resist teasing the contestant about his modest winnings, reminding him, if you get this right, you'd have had 4 goes at getting the £1,000 and 3 goes at getting the £70,000. Oh well, we knew you'd redeem yourself. What a shame, reports the Express. As expected, George correctly answered the final question, securing his spot in the final chase and adding £1 to the cash pot. The host commented, "Both of you could be playing for £130,000, as George rolled his eyes before asking the 54-year-old chaser his thoughts on the unexpected game. Paul Sinha quipped, "Well, you did what you had to do and you got back. But the bad news for you is I believe that you weren't concentrating when the producers told you that you actually win what you bring back to the final chase." Despite not being quite up to scratch, George managed to laugh off the playful dig and rejoined his team with good spirits. The episode's broadcast brought out a storm of reactions on X, the social platform formerly known as Twitter. Disgruntlement was the order of the day, as one viewer posted, "Why on earth go through the process of being selected to play for £1? First-class Muppet, #TheChase." While another shared a similar sentiment, £1? GTF! Loser's attitude, #TheChase. Adding to the displeasure, another remarked, "If I'd put $7,000 in the kitty and he came back with his £1, I would pound his bloody face in. How can you be so selfish, #TheChase." Commenting on the idea of keeping the stakes personal, one spectator suggested, "That should be the case. They work as a team to beat the chaser, but they win what they put forward for the final chase. Stop the wimps going low offer, #TheChase." The last contestant to face the chaser, Steve, sadly didn't make it through and was knocked out. During the final chase, even though the team secured 14 correct answers, it wasn't enough to outrun the chaser, who caught up with them and left them without the prize money. Paul Sinha adjusted his glasses, eyes narrowing as the clock ticked on the chase set. It was meant to be a typical Tuesday episode, but Liz's move had stirred a tension that even Bradley Walsh's cheeky grin couldn't dissolve. Liz, a 24-year-old marketing assistant, had reached the final chase with £70,000 after taking the high offer. Applause had erupted across the studio, but when Bradley asked if she would split the prize with her teammates if they returned, Liz simply smirked. "No, I'm keeping it all," she said, her voice calm, her eyes daring the audience to boo. Bradley's eyebrows shot up. The cameras caught Paul Sinha's brief, stunned chuckle before his professional mask returned. "Wow," Bradley exclaimed, looking between Liz and the empty chairs of her teammates she had outpaced in the cash builder. Liz shrugged. "I came to win." The audience shifted uncomfortably, whispers rolling like a tide. Social media lit up as people called Liz selfish, legendary, and cold-blooded all in one breath. As Liz prepared to face Paul in the final chase alone, the Sinha Man leaned forward, fingers drumming the table. The buzzer sounded, and the intense head-to-head began. Liz was sharp, knocking out question after question. History, pop culture, geography, she was unstoppable. Paul was good, but the pressure was palpable, and for a split second he paused on a question about 1960s French cinema, letting the seconds tick by. The audience could smell the tension. Liz was one answer away from £70,000. Then, with a rueful laugh, Paul turned to Bradley. "You know, Bradley, we might need a rule change after this." The studio went silent. The director motioned to cut, but Paul waved it off. "I'm serious," Paul continued, his expression softening. "I've never seen someone this determined to play alone, but it exposes something. Maybe we need to rethink how we let players handle high offers if they're solo in the final chase." Bradley tilted his head. "You letting slip something, Paul?" Paul smiled, eyes glinting. "Call it an unofficial preview. The producers have been talking about encouraging teamwork again, to keep the spirit of the game alive." The room buzzed, the crew exchanging wide-eyed glances as Liz shot Paul a glare. The countdown resumed. Liz pressed the buzzer on the final question, getting it right, and the studio exploded. £70,000 in her hands, alone, her smile unwavering as she hugged Bradley. Backstage, Paul sighed, wiping his glasses. She deserved it, but maybe it's time the chase evolves. Online, the clip of Paul's rule change comment went viral within hours, fans debating whether Liz's selfish but gutsy move was a sign that the chase needed fresh rules for solo victories. For Liz, it didn't matter. She walked away with £70,000, unbothered, her name forever etched in the chase's history as the contestant who made the Sinner Man break character and hint at a future nobody saw coming.